All right, trappers, Madtrapper back at you. I'm kind of doing a follow-up video to the first beaver processing video. In that method, I showed how, in my estimate anyway, that beaver ought to be put up. Well, I've put them up for years. New thing has come about this year. My fur buyers have been buying fur since early 90s. Thousands of beavers. I've sold him tons of beavers last several years, and they've always been graded individually. Everybody, I assume, knows that the hatter market is taking off. Hatter demand here in the United States and in Europe, both for felt. So they're having a huge hatter push. And so being the first ones I sold him back in January before I went to Mississippi, they were graded individually like normal. This last time, my Mississippi beaver, I took down there 2-3 weeks ago, got there and got a little bit of a surprise. He says, well, I'll look at them individually just to see how they are, but other than that, we're going to throw them on that scale over there. So he went to doing them by the pound, which that's the way hatter beavers are traditionally purchased. Just I've not seen fur buyers in this area weigh them by the pound. He paid a flat price through the pound, and that was that. $15 if you want to know per pound. They may be up a little bit more. Like I said, that was a couple weeks ago. I'm doing some beavers here. This is actually for a trapping buddy of mine. And so doing them by the pound, you want to have a little different presentation. I don't want to say you don't want to do as good a job, but you don't want to do it as clean a job. So I'm going to show you the difference with these beavers versus the video you'll be watching that's, I think, coming out this week. This one will be for next week. Same thing, you flush them, or excuse me, you comb them before you flush them. Make sure all the burrs are out, of course. First difference being, if you watch the first one, I'd flip it over and cut the ears off. I don't know what a hair weighs, but this particular gentleman bought me almost 100 beaver, so 100 pair of ears are going to have some weight. They stay on. Next step being, when I clean, if you watch how I clean the other ones, they were right down to the hide. You got to be kind of careful getting around this, right down to the leather, not the hide, right to the leather. Now on this particular method, also the legs I would pull up, and if they were extremely long like these, I'd cut them off. Now this one I'm going to cut off a little bit because it's wanting to roll. You do not want them to rot. So I'm going to cut off, it's just a flap on the back side here. Get rid of that. Other than that, I leave the leg long. Now where you can add weight to a hide without it doing any what they call hot spots is right in this area right here. This is your second thickest, or actually I think your first thickest meat. The membrane here. Of course, the tail has the next. But this, a little different than the tail, doesn't have the underlying fat that the tail does. So you can actually get away with leaving more of it on there. So we're going to leave that patch. Normally I take that patch off. We're going to leave that patch on there. Other than that, this is done the same way. Careful not to hang one of the tits. You also have to be a little more careful around the front leg, because if you dig too far, too hard, you'll actually rip it right there and you got a very big leg. Again, I just hook it, roll it down, just past that tit. Up here, just clean a little of this off. Again, you can't leave it where, you're leaving so much fat on it's going to rot. Don't want to do that. You got this fat patch right here on the ear. You may not have to clean it all off, but you definitely need to get that out of there because it will not dry down very good. Same thing on this side. Again, this meat here that I was taking off, all I do is do anything heavy that might not dry good. The rest stays on. I mean, I'm not intentionally doing a bad job. I'm just not doing a thorough job as I normally would. Flat pad right here. It needs to come off. Sometimes hard to dig them out, but they need to come out of there. You don't want that rotten and stinking when you take it into your fur bar. Same as in the first one, make sure your hide stays straight, tight. Again, you have all this right here. I'm going to take a little bit of that off. I'm going to do a horrible job, but I do want to leave a little bit on there. All that adds up. May only, depends on how many beaver you do. It may only be, everything I would do may only add maybe 1/4 of a pound per pelt, especially on these bigger ones. But when you got 100 of them, you're adding some weight at $15 a pound. If you're not doing anything sneaky as far as like rubbing sand in the hide or anything, don't do that. Kind of surprising what people try to get away with to make $1. Now this one has a hole already in the leg. Try to work around that and then cut that flap off. It's just meat anyway, it looks like. Got a little extra here, it's going to come off. Again, I'm not trying to take it all the way down. Normally that patch right there, the whole thing would look like that. Just getting the fat off. At the end of this video, I'm going to do, I had a request from one of you guys to see what the inside of the first shed looks like, how I have it set up. So we'll do that at the end of the video. I got 6 beavers to do today. I'm just going to do this one for the video, and then we'll go through the fur room. Most of this is the same, except again, I am not trying to get every little shaving off. I mean, this would all come off here in the other video. Look at the color of this hide compared to the color of the other hide. I'll show you a difference here in just a second. I like to get all this hanging stuff off because it does pull the hide different ways. All right, see how this pink is in here? Normally, that's all stuff that can come off. Get down to the leather. It's just leaving a little bit of a membrane. And that's the way I would normally do it, down to the white. But this is what we're shooting for. That's extra weight. Again, clean her off, but again, down in here, I will take it down to where, and this is an experience thing, you know, you can get away with leaving some of this in here, of course, but you got to know kind of what to leave and what not to leave, and how much. We want the extra weight, but we don't want hot spots. It's going to start rending the hide. I will not keep the caster edge. Again, that's more weight, yes, I understand, but that's just worthless weight. I take a little pride in my work, so I'm not going to leave something that's just totally worthless. Sometimes he has the heel on, like I do. Look to be this time on this one. Gotta be careful here, because there's a fold right there. If you go on, keep knifing up in there, you'll hit that fold, and there'll be a hole. A little hole there, and right there's what it was. Bad combing job. There's not much of one. Get it out of here. Come through or not, little bitty burr, but I didn't get that combed out good, and it was right the last couple inches. I left a little bitty hole. So all you got to comb them good. and kind of just push and just kind of, I don't know, turn the handle, dig a little bit. You don't want to push real hard, then they're gripping the leg out. And I go around, get all this extra off here. There's no bite, you don't want to rip that open. That's dull. All this white fat has to come off. It will never dry. Well, it may dry eventually, but your hide will be ruined around the edges before it does. All right. Get that off the board. I don't know how many of you will use knicker knives or knives like that, sharp knives on the fleshing knife. But you seen that was pretty dull. I couldn't cut that meat off there. I don't use it that way very much. But I don't know if you guys know a fast way to sharpen them or not. That's one of the few things I can see to be. I'm going to show you that here in just a second. This skirt cleaned off pretty good of the white fat. This red meat pushed down into that white. I don't have to worry about it. Got a good knuckle on this one. We'll go ahead and flip him out. Cut him off. Don't need him. Just for rot. Here, cut the edge of that caster off of there. We'll give a good round appearance. We'll put it on the board. Get that edge cleaned off good. Dull. I should have done one side before I sharpened the back of the necker. You have a comparison of this. All right. We'll check that out in a minute. Now, another difference. On the face, normally I go push all this off, come about right across here, cut right between the nose and the eyes, come on over around here. Don't want to do that on a pound hatter market. You gotta get this thick stuff off of here. And then you got this patch of fat right there by the whisker base. You gotta get that out of there. You kind of gotta dig in and out. You don't want to cut straight down, you're just gonna cut it off. But dig in and out, get that fat out of there. Come through here, cut that off. Don't need it. Same thing over here. Just work it out here toward the point of the lip. Come back here. Dig that fat out of there so all the white's gone. Come through here, cut that off. Nose is still there. Normally it's gone. Got a little extra here I want to go ahead and get rid of. There we go. This down. And if you look at this one compared to the one I did on the first video, that's not clean. There's a lot more left here than I normally leave. I don't know if that's going to show up in the GoPro or not, but pretty thick right there. Even back here, you get below that heavy gristle, there's a real light, I hope it shines, but a real light layer of kind of that white tough meat. I leave that on there too. I mean, this would have all normally been off. So all that, the extra leg, the nose, lip area, leaving the extra on here. May only add a few ounces per hide, but again, you got 100 hides. That's quite a little bit. I'm going to sharpen this up real quick. First thing I do is clean it up a little bit. Get the blade clean, nice and smooth. Now this is the sharp edge I'm doing. That's what this knife's for. You go on the bevel side, not the flat side, the bevel side, take this, and you can actually feel it. It's real gritty when you first start, and it gets real smooth. Wish I had a demonstration for you on that, but I tell you, that did sharpen it up. There, rolling that down real easy. A while ago, it wouldn't roll nothing down. Just lost some weight. Now, what I do, of course, I just take them, fold them in half, pull them in thirds in the air, drop them in my laundry basket, then I would do all of them. To shorten the video up and keep it rolling straight through, I'm going to show you guys the fur room right quick. This is, of course, self-explanatory. Where I hang them, I bring them up here, comb them out, rotate him over here. Next one up. Doesn't matter if it's coon, coyotes, cats, beaver, otter, all go through the same thing. Down here, these are my, they used to be clothes hangers. I put down in the cat leg to do the, I think it's called the Nevada stretch. Put them down in the cat leg, holds them wide. Take one of these, put in that same leg to hold it open so it gets air. Makes a very pretty stretch. I'll go over that in depth next season if you haven't already seen that. Other than that, it's pretty standard. Keep a sander. Sometimes it gets a little rough, so I sand it down. Just extra towels, extra gloves. Borax, which is the 20 mule team, great for the inside of cat, coyote, fox, around the head, under the legs, even on the bobcats when you're doing that Nevada stretch or whatever it's called. Extra stapler. I've used 3. You'll see in this video the stapler I'm using today is different than the stapler I used the other day. I do out here, of course, all my coon stretchers are hanging up here. And then I got an extra fleshing beam here. That one's my homemade joppy. I bought one years ago. I've never used it. I got mine where I can actually change that board out if it gets real bad. It's just screwed in there. You can see it's got a long tongue on it. I can take that off, put another one on. Other than that, I got nails everywhere to hang fur with as I'm waiting for them to thaw. There's the 6 beavers for tomorrow. In the actual drying room, just different stretchers: mink, fox, bobcat, otter. Got a little weasel up here drying. Dehumidifier, essential. To me, can't have a fur room without it. Place nails to hold my muskrat stretchers, which I'm going to make another layer up here because these are always getting in my way. But I do a lot of muskrats. Heater. It's if you're running a dehumidifier and you got a good insulated room. I built this room in 2000, but it insulated well. That will produce enough heat unless it's real cold. And then I got an electric heater there. It's got a 1 bulb or 2 bulb heat lamp in it. Other than that, my beaver holder, if you will, bolt holder. Pretty simple. I just got a 2x4 with, as you see, nails spaced. The board goes between the nails. The space from one set of nails to the next set of nails is the drying area. They go in there and they'll stand just like that. I'll keep them separated. Stack the beavers up here. Of course, you can see these are the ones with the nose on it. Only other thing you need is I keep a fan running, of course, all the time there. And down there I got an old fan off the old swimming pool thing my kids had. It moves a ton of air. Now I only use that when I'm blowing air into the beaver. These racks, these are the hooks that I hang my coon and muskrat stretchers from. They go all the way across the room as best I can. Looks like I got 6 lines of them. One thing you got to watch here is just make sure you don't put anything hanging over like the beavers when I have them on the boards here. The grease will drip down on them. So I always do my coons and muskrats first and then the beaver last. All right, Travis, we're back. The board we just moved, I'm going to use it. The way my little whirly jigger works. Normally I work from that side. For the sake of the video here. Just put him on there like that. I'll be back. Turn me up a piece of towel. We'll wipe them all down real good. So this is no different than the first video. There's nothing new here other than how I will do the legs and some of the holes. This one was in a bad fight not too long before he was caught. Again, of course, I staple all mine. Now you get around here, around these holes, gotta be a little careful. If you pull too hard, it'll rip it. I use 9/16 staples. The stapler, the spare one I showed you up there, actually, I messed up when I bought it. It only does 1/2 inch, so that's why I don't use it only as a spare. I was happy I had it before yesterday. Well, my second one of the season quit me. Yes, they weren't made for doing hundreds of staples in a beaver. I had one I bought from Walmart years ago that lasted forever. Get that off, like that. Pull some of the staples that didn't come out. Gotta watch some of these are sticking up, so they will get you. Well, pop these off. Again, normally, not a law, but normally I'll put 3 in the front and 4 in the back. So, I'm trying to figure that one out. The front legs are usually smaller than the back legs. If you can't get them, you got to go under, between, and prime up. And this is a mess. Lift up and push the hide back down. You can't get under it like that one there. Hope it shows up. Roll it up a little bit, push the hide back down, and you get right under it. Boy, or not a very old beaver, had a rough life. Make sure I get those staples sticking up and they're going to get me. You gotta make sure you get every staple out of the hide. Get the one foot close to you, push the other one down, and slide out a lot easier, preferably without breaking. I will say, run the staples on now, same brand, Arrow brand, not breaking like the others were. So I buy them a case or two at a time, and I guess I got into a bad lot because they were breaking horribly for the last 2 years. After getting them off, get them calm down. Hang them off a little bit. Beaver always stack leather to leather, fur to fur. Get the one we just flushed. Say there's only a little difference. One, you got the nose on here, and the front legs are a little longer. And get him centered up good. Nice little Arrow stapler. Yesterday, the first day I used it. It is bending the staples a lot, but it's not putting them in too far, so I'm hoping they won't break when they come out. Again, I use 9/16 staples just for the fact that hopefully they'll go in far enough to hold the hide, but they stick up a little bit easier to pull out. Oops. All right, there's the initial stretch. Over here. You see, when I'm done here, he won't be pulled tight. I'm not actually trying to stretch him. Just open him up to his original size. Again, especially on the hatter market, you're not gaining anything by making him bigger. Because they're just going by weight. That one's in a little far. It's going to have a funky edge. Pull it out, bring this out. You gotta watch on the feet, make sure nothing rolls over. Now you got these tall feet. What do we do about them? You don't want to fold them because it's going to fold on this side. So what I do, I take them straight down. Stand this side up, take them straight down. So don't fold back over. It's just a clump down at the bottom. Now you got a little hump on the nose, which I always have. More because I'm not used to doing it. The nose. Haven't done that in 30 years. Stretch him out a little bit. Take him down. Here, another thing, this fat will, or this meat that's left on here will roll over. We don't want that. And not that it hurts that, it's just hard to get the staples out. So what you can do, come here and kind of go sideways with your staples. Right here through this real thick stuff. Put the staple in there sideways, it won't roll over the staple. Worth the price of admission right there. Again, get your leg out so you know where he's at. Straight down. So if you pulled over, that little fat right there would rot. Won't rot now. It'll just add weight. Uh-oh, got one caught. that's it. Still a little loose, that's fine, that's great. He will shrink up and be tight. After that, all I do is flip them over. I don't have one ready for this side, but nice and white down. Now this one's got a couple of big chunks of meat that have dried down, but it's stuck on there. It is weight. If you want to leave it, if you want to take it off, you get your knife and just hit it. It'll pop right off. And I set up like this on my beaver, technically 3 days, and they're dry. Out no matter what. Yeah, gotta watch out. I about caught that tooth right there. Out the staple rake. Staple, get thrown out of here. Hand grabbers off of here. Again, check for your staple, that's on the board. Find the ones we left. Always a few. Generally not many. Now, say the last staples were a nightmare. Face all fluffed up. Again, not that it matters on the hatter market. It don't matter one lick. Again, face left on, longer legs all the way around, and it's just a thicker hide because of the meat we left. Now, you see here that dried down real good. but it's a lot thicker, a lot tougher, which means more weight. All right, trappers, I guess that is all I have for you today. Can't think of anything else that'll help you out. If you got any comments, like the one that wanted to see the inside of the fur shed, feel free to drop a note and we'll get it out there for you. Until then, we'll see you down the line.